Hello everyone, this is Community Starcraft 2. This is Sidewinder. I'm actually bringing you my first Starcraft 2 instructional video. So if you are an absolute beginner at Starcraft 2, or if you are just struggling down in the lower leagues, go ahead and take a listen to this series of videos I'm going to be producing. This first video I'm going to be producing is actually showcasing the way we play Starcraft 2. Now, if you're looking to improve as a player, there's a whole lot of things that you can change, whether it's within the options or whether it's within your own brain. You're going to get used to the more effective way to play StarCraft, and if you're more effective, obviously you're a better player, and we all know that playing better is usually more fun. So what I'm going to do here is show you how a new player to StarCraft would typically play, and don't take offense if you play like this. This is obviously all just for teaching purposes, but we'll go ahead and just jump right into it. Now I'm just playing a custom game against, just a random computer on very easy. So what you would typically see from a new player is they'll usually drag over, select all their probes, I'll tell them to go mine. They will do everything with their mouse. They will go into this little command panel and they will click their probes. They will do everything rather slowly, and they will also have gaps in their production. They'll be busy kind of wandering around the map, not really paying attention. Again, they'll click the probe again, and this way is very inefficient. Now, you have two hands, and you're going to be wanting to put both of those hands to use as much as possible. If you play this way when you're only using your mouse, and you're not playing as quickly as you should be, obviously you're going to struggle against players that are using both of their hands and using all of the game's tools that they throw at you. Now, you can see I'm just really screwing off here, and if you're one of the higher level players, you're going to say, oh man, this guy's terrible. But no, we're just showcasing what it looks like if a new player is playing versus what it looks like if you're using all the game's tools at your disposal. So again, a new player is probably going to send their probes out. They're going to click on their menus. They're going to find the building they want to put up. They're going to put up a pylon right there, and then they're going to kind of wander around. They'll probably go back and mine. They'll start another probe and not realize that they are supply blocked. Anyway, so you get the point. The point is that newer players play with one hand and one hand only. We are going to get you off that idea with this video. Now, if you are just beginning and you have not explored any of these two top menus here, this Options and Hotkeys menu, I will walk you through this. So go ahead and click on your Hotkeys, and what you're going to see in here is it's probably going to show up as Standard. Now, Standard, well, I guess I should start off by saying hotkeys are essentially ways on your keyboard to tell the game to do something without having to go around all over the screen and click what you want to do. You're going to do it with your left hand on your keyboard or your right hand if you play left-handed. First thing that you want to do in this hotkeys menu is go ahead and select Grid. What Grid is going to do is it's going to align your little command panel down here in the bottom right-hand corner with what you see on your keyboard. So Q is going to be the action in the top left, Z is going to be action in the bottom left, so on and so forth. We'll take a look at it in game. So if you go back to the game, you can see my little overlay here has a Q to build a probe if I have my nexus selected. Or if I have a probe selected, Z is going to be the button that I use to access the menu to warp in structures. So rather than getting a probe and saying, hey probe, go over here, I want this and I want that with my mouse, I'm instead going to go ZA so quickly that you don't even really notice, and it's going to save me so much time when I'm going back between the two that it's going to really help out in your gameplay mechanics if you get used to using these hotkeys. And the Grid is a very straightforward, easy way to get used to it, so you're not having to go in here and select all of your little options. It even goes as far as in a battle you can select something T and click, which is going to put them on attack, or you can select something R, which is going to put them on patrol, E to hold position, on stuff like that. So really basic stuff here, but if you do not use hotkeys, you are wasting your entire capability of your left hand and only playing with one hand, and somebody that's playing with two hands is always going to beat someone that's playing with one. So just beat that into your brain, and there's actually a challenge within the game that challenges you to never touch this command panel here. It'll challenge you to do everything in the command panel that you want to do on your own instead of actually touching the menu and saying, ooh, look at this, I want to forge. No, I want a pylon, stuff like that. So you'll be able to build stuff a lot quicker, and you will be able to really whip through your little cues and save yourself a ton of time by doing it this way. So go into your hotkeys, change it to grid, and there are ways that you can go ahead and change a few of the other things. I have mine set to grid custom to alleviate some problems I was having, and I just got used to this setup. So grid is a very good place to start if you're not used to using hotkeys, so go ahead and set it to that. I'll just set it back to my own. Get a little warning there, that's nice. And so anyway, yes, use hotkeys. I cannot stress that enough. Get your hotkeys down, play with two hands, keep both of your hands busy as much as they can, because you're going to notice a huge difference in speed and capability when you're using two hands to do very simple objects instead of one all over the screen saying go here, I want this and that. You can actually have it all queued up, ready to go, you know, and then get your probe back to work. So a lot of ways you can save time with hotkeys. Second thing you're going to do to help you play a little better is go into your options menu, and you're going to go down to gameplay. We're going to look at a few options here. The first one is going to be your unit status bars. These status bars are things like health and energy on your units and on enemy units, so that you can see what's going on without having to click on that unit. So if you have it on normal, what's going to happen is all the little bars over your units are going to be gone. Now, the reason this is useful is because if you have a whole group of workers or army units or whatever, and one of them is hurt, you're not going to know which one to prioritize as far as who to save. I mean, just looking at this, you can't tell unless you mouse over and say, okay, what's his health, what's his health, what's his health, whatever. If you go into the options menu and you turn on those status bars, they're going to show you all the health and all the energy of every one of your units. Now, yeah, it might look a little annoying to have bars over your units and whatever, but it's a lot more helpful to be able to just look and gather that information as you play, and it's especially helpful if you have like an enemy unit. Let's say these probes are enemies, and let's say these are friendly. Now if you're outnumbered or something like this, but there's a couple of hurt guys in there, you can go out of your way to attack this person, or attack the hurt one instead of just guessing and having your units do whatever. It's going to really help you out in the fights as far as making the correct decisions. So that's very, very important to turn that on. If you like it on, I would suggest having it on. I also turn on the flyer helper, which is if there's a flying unit, it shows a little marker underneath them. The reason that is helpful is because if you're trying to, let's say, keep away vision from something on the low ground, like right here, if you have a unit down here, it's not going to be able to see up this ramp, and if you're trying to hide something like a flying unit, or if you're Terran, if you're trying to hide like a command center, it'll show you exactly where that unit is instead of being kind of ambiguous about where it is. So I'll let you guys go ahead and explore that. A couple of other things you really want to turn on is the game timer, which is going to be this little guy right here. It's going to show you the elapsed time through the game so that you can get used to if you're doing like a specific build and you need to have certain units out by certain times, or if you want to see how many units a guy had by a certain time in the game, you can take note of it right there with that little timer. It helps sometimes, but it never hurts to have it on. So keep that on, it's very helpful. And the other thing you're going to want to turn on is the command hotkey text. I've had it on this whole time, but if you turn it off and you go back and you select one of your probes, now I can't see what hotkey does this unless I mouse over it. It's a lot easier to get used to using hotkeys if you have that overlay on there. So turn on that overlay, and now you can see all of your hotkeys over the top of that, so that building stuff and getting used to whatever it is a lot easier. So yes, that will conclude this portion of the tutorial. We'll go ahead and check back into the second portion, which is going to deal with hotkeying different buildings, different control groups, and stuff like that. So stay tuned.